The Savannah River, rich with history. Home to the First African Baptist Church of Savannah, Georgia. The Savannah River currently receives the highest volume of trade from outside of the country than any other port in America. But this great river once served as a baptismal quarter for what is now known as the First African Baptist Church.
Take me to the water.
In 1773, Reverend George Leal, a born slave, obtained his freedom to become a traveling preacher. In 1777, he was granted permission to travel to plantations in Savannah, Georgia to preach to the slaves. There he began the First African Baptist Church, called at that time First Colored Baptist Church, on Keokee Farms in the Brampton barn with 6 members, which quickly grew to 30. He led his growing congregation until 1782.
To be baptized.
Ain't gonna let nobody turn me round, turn me round, turn me round.
In 1822, Reverend Andrew Cox Marshall took over the church and named it First African Baptist Church. Reverend Andrew Cox Marshall and his 3,000-member congregation decided to build a new building themselves. In 1832, they sought after land on which a white church named First Baptist sat. The congregation decided to put up money they had set aside to buy their freedom in order to purchase the property, which was put up for sale for $1,500. The goal was to build a church building to the glory of God for future generations, and they did. In 1855, the wooden structure was torn down, and the congregation began building a brick structure which stands today. Each brick was made by hand by the slaves near the Savannah River. These bricks were carried by the women in their aprons 1/4 of a mile up an incline to the building site. They carried enough bricks to make the walls of the church 4 bricks thick. In 1859, under the direction of Reverend William Campbell, the brick building was completed. The sanctuary holds 1,600 people. The church is brilliant with rich colors of authentic Tiffany-stained glass windows with glass portraits of African American ministers from the earliest years. In the balcony, there are wooden pews with markings of 9 African tribes represented in the original congregation. These markings were used by the Gullah people as a way of denoting their families and tribal affiliations. Housed in the main chapel is the enormous pipe organ. It is the oldest pipe organ in Georgia and towers grandly over the congregation from the balcony. Not only did the congregation put hard work into the church itself, but a lot of hard work was put into crafting the streets as well. The Riverwalk along the Savannah River features a cobblestone sidewalk crafted by the congregation of the First African Baptist Church and still stands today. During the construction of the church, the congregation found a tunnel which was part of the Savannah Tunnel system. They finished opening this tunnel up to beneath the church, where they built a 4-foot hiding place and laid a wooden floor over it. This chamber anchored 14 tunnels that branched out from beneath the church. First African Baptist Church would now become a part of the Underground Railroad. On the floor of the lower chapel, there are a variety of diamond-shaped patterns bored into the wood. 36 holes in total. These are air holes leading to the chambers beneath the floor where the slaves were hidden. The entrances to the tunnels are still hidden today. Slaves wishing to gain their freedom would make their way to church service in the sanctuary. They would then be given food and slipped into the tunnel to hide until it was safe to escape to the river. They would travel upriver either by boat or crossed over and hid in barns in South Carolina until their masters stopped looking for them and they made their way to freedom in the north.
God alone to stay.
The Savannah River, rich with history, home of the first brick building erected by blacks in the state of Georgia, home of the first brick building owned by blacks in the state of Georgia, home of the first African American Baptist Church, the oldest black congregation in North America. The first African Baptist Church still stands today and continues to make history.
See that host are dressed in white.
God's gonna trouble.
You know the leader, he looks just like an Israelite.
God's gonna trouble.
Come on and away
In the water.
wait
In the water.
wait
In the water. God's gonna